Hello, I'm Ryan.
Hello, I am Amy. Welcome to Listen to English Podcast.
Today's episode is Learn English Alone and Improve Fast 6 Steps.
We know that many of you are trying to improve your English on your own, and it can feel a little daunting at times. So we are here to guide you with some tips and tricks. And we are going to break down the process into 6 simple yet powerful steps that you can start using right away. These steps will help you gain confidence and fluency even if you are learning solo. Let's get started with step number 1, and it might seem pretty obvious, but it's crucial. Listen every single day.
Think about it like this. When you were a baby, how did you learn your first language? You listened to your parents, your siblings, the people around you, and you absorbed the sounds and rhythms of the language.
It appears that for those of us learning English a little later in life, we can replicate this process by surrounding ourselves with as much spoken English as possible. And the great thing is, in today's world, we have so many resources available to us.
Oh, yeah?
From podcasts to audiobooks to videos, and the beauty of it is you can choose content that genuinely interests you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you love true crime stories, listen to true crime podcasts in English. If you enjoy learning about history, there are tons of fantastic history podcasts out there. Find what sparks your interest and just immerse yourself in it.
Exactly.
Really, the world is your oyster.
And don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. The key is to expose yourself to the sounds of the language consistently. Studies show that consistent listening helps your brain become familiar with the patterns of English, which will ultimately make it easier to understand and speak. And here's another helpful tip, especially in the beginning. Use subtitles. Subtitles can be incredibly useful. They act like training wheels, providing you with that extra visual support so you can connect the spoken words with their written form.
Right.
Which helps to reinforce your understanding.
So you're seeing and hearing the words at the same time.
Exactly.
Connecting those two pieces.
But the goal is to eventually wean yourself off of those subtitles. So start with subtitles on, and as you get more comfortable, try turning them off for short periods, maybe just a few minutes at a time, and gradually increase the time you spend listening without subtitles. You'll be amazed how quickly your brain adapts and starts to process the spoken language more effectively.
Yeah, you might surprise yourself.
All right, let's move on to step number 2, and this is where things get a little more interactive. Copy native speakers. Now, this might sound a bit strange at first, but trust me, it's one of the most effective ways to improve your pronunciation and fluency. It's all about mimicking, shadowing, even putting on a bit of a performance.
Oh, like a one-man show.
Exactly, or one-woman show. By copying how native speakers actually talk, you are not just learning words in isolation. You are internalizing the nuances of pronunciation, the intonation, the rhythm, all those elements that make spoken English sound natural and fluent.
Right. So it's not just about the words themselves, it's how you deliver them.
Absolutely.
A really powerful technique for this is called shadowing. Have you ever tried shadowing?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of my favorite techniques. Basically, what you do is you listen to a short phrase or sentence spoken by a native speaker, and then you immediately repeat it, trying to match their pace, their intonation, and even their emotion as closely as possible. It's like you're becoming a vocal chameleon, blending into the sounds of the language.
Exactly. And while you're shadowing, pay close attention to things like word stress. You know how certain syllables are emphasized within a word, and how the pitch of the voice rises and falls throughout a sentence? These subtle details make a huge difference in how you're understood and how confident you sound when you speak.
And the great thing is you can find materials for shadowing pretty much anywhere. TV shows and movies are fantastic resources for this. Choose a scene with a dialogue that you enjoy, rewind and replay short segments, and then try to mimic the actors as closely as possible.
It's like having your own personal pronunciation coach right there in your living room.
Exactly. And remember, it's all about practice. Don't worry about sounding perfect at first. The more you practice, the better you will become at picking up on those subtle nuances of authentic spoken English.
You'll get there.
So we've talked about listening and copying native speakers, but now it's time to shift gears a little bit and focus on something that might seem a bit more conceptual: thinking in English. This step is a real game changer.
Yeah.
But it can also be a bit challenging for some learners.
I can imagine.
That's right. It's all about shifting that internal dialogue, those thoughts that are running through your head from your native language to English. It's about training your brain to think in the language you want to speak.
So instead of constantly translating in your head, you're actually thinking in English.
Exactly.
It appears that many learners get stuck in this habit of translating everything in their heads, which really slows down their speaking
Yeah.
and makes it harder to express themselves naturally and spontaneously.
It's like having a mental roadblock. Every time you want to speak, you have to go through this translation process, which breaks the flow of your thoughts and makes it harder to be present in the conversation.
But because you're so focused on the mechanics of translating that you lose that natural flow of conversation.
Exactly.
So how do we overcome this mental roadblock?
Well, it starts with consciously making an effort to incorporate English into your daily life, even when you are alone. Instead of just going through the motions of your day, start narrating your surroundings in English.
Like what, for example?
Simple things like, I'm making coffee now. It smells delicious. I wonder what I should wear today. Just simple observations or thoughts expressed in English. It's like providing a running commentary on your own life, but in English.
I love that idea. It's like creating your own little English-speaking world in your mind.
Exactly. And you can also start asking yourself questions and answering them in English. What am I feeling right now? I'm feeling excited about my English progress. You can even have little debates with yourself in English.
Oh, that's fun.
It is fun.
It's like having that internal dialogue.
Right.
That's a fun way to practice thinking critically in English. What are some other ways we can encourage ourselves to think in English more regularly?
Another great technique is to keep a simple English diary. You don't have to write pages and pages, even just a single sentence each day is enough. Just jot down a thought, an observation, anything that comes to mind, but do it in English. This helps to solidify your thinking process in English and gets you comfortable expressing yourself in writing.
It's like planting little seeds of English thought in your mind. And over time, those seeds will grow into a flourishing garden of English fluency.
Exactly. All right, so we've covered listening, copying native speakers, and thinking in English. Now it's time to put all of that together and start actually speaking out loud every single day.
Yeah, that's right. We've been doing a lot of mental work so far, but now it's time to get those vocal cords working and turn those thoughts into spoken words. Remember, speaking is a skill just like playing an instrument or riding a bike. It requires regular practice to develop fluency and confidence.
And one of the best things about practicing speaking is that you don't actually need a conversation partner to do it. You can practice anytime, anywhere. You can talk to yourself, you can read aloud, you can even record yourself speaking, and the more you practice, the more comfortable and confident you will become.
Absolutely. And one of the easiest ways to start practicing speaking is to simply talk to yourself about your daily routine. As you're getting dressed, making breakfast, walking, the dog describe what you're doing in English.
It might feel a little strange at first, but remember, nobody's listening. It's a fantastic way to get comfortable using English vocabulary and grammar in a natural, everyday context.
I love that idea, Amy. It's like turning your everyday life into an English-speaking practice session.
Exactly. And another great exercise is to read English texts aloud, focusing on your pronunciation and trying to sound as natural as possible. You can use anything for this: news articles, blog posts, even children's books. The key is to get those vocal cords working and to train your mouth to produce English sounds accurately.
Now, I know some people might feel a little shy about speaking out loud, especially if they're alone, but here's a tip that might help. Try recording yourself speaking. Choose a topic that interests you, talk for a few minutes, and then listen back to the recording.
That's such a good idea. By listening back to your own recordings, you can identify areas where you can improve your pronunciation, your fluency, and even the organization of your thoughts. It's like having your own personal speech coach in your pocket.
Exactly. And you can even use your recordings to track your progress over time. It's incredibly motivating to hear how much your speaking has improved after weeks or months of consistent practice.
All right, let's move on to step number 5, and this is all about expanding your vocabulary. Learn new words in context. We all know that vocabulary is essential for communication, but simply memorizing lists of words is not very effective. It's like trying to build a house with bricks but no mortar. The words might be there, but they won't stick together to form meaningful sentences.
It appears that to truly master new vocabulary, you need to understand how those words are used in phrases and sentences. You need to learn them in context.
Think of words as puzzle pieces. They only make sense when they are connected to other pieces to form a complete picture. So instead of just memorizing individual words, focus on learning phrases and expressions.
For example, instead of just learning the word happy, learn phrases like, I'm happy to see you, or that's a happy coincidence. These phrases give you a clearer understanding of how the word is used in different situations, and they're more likely to stick in your memory because they have meaning and relevance to your life.
Absolutely. And flashcards are another fantastic tool for learning vocabulary in context. But instead of just writing the word on one side and the translation on the other, write a complete sentence using the word. This way, you're not just memorizing the word in isolation, you're learning how to use it in a real sentence.
That's a great tip, Amy. I've always found that flashcards are much more effective when I use them to learn phrases rather than just individual words. What are some other ways we can learn new words in context?
Well, another great way is to watch English videos and write down any new expressions that you come across. Again, the key is to note down the entire phrase, not just the individual word. And don't be afraid to look up words you don't understand. The more you expose yourself to real English, the faster your vocabulary will grow.
So we've covered 5 essential steps for learning English alone. Listening every day, copying native speakers, thinking in English, speaking out loud every day, and learning new words in context. Now it's time for our final step, and it might seem like the simplest one, but it's incredibly important. Stay motivated and have fun.
That's right. Learning a language is a journey, and like any journey, it can have its ups and downs. There will be days when you feel super motivated and you make amazing progress, and there will be days when you feel like giving up. The key is to find ways to keep the learning process enjoyable so that you don't lose steam along the way. Because let's face it, if you're not enjoying it, you're much less likely to stick with it.
It appears that one of the best ways to stay motivated is to use English for things that you genuinely enjoy doing. Instead of treating it like a chore, think of it as an opportunity to explore your interests and hobbies in a new language. Do you love movies? Watch them in English. Are you a gamer? Play games in English. Are you a music fanatic? Listen to English music.
By immersing yourself in English in a way that you genuinely enjoy, you're not just learning, you're having fun at the same time. And that makes a huge difference in terms of motivation and progress. What are some other things that can help us stay motivated on our English learning journey?
Well, one thing that I've found really helpful is connecting with other English language learners. Joining online English groups or communities can be incredibly supportive and encouraging.
Absolutely. Knowing that you're not alone in this journey can be really motivating. And it's also a great opportunity to share tips, practice speaking with each other, and just generally encourage each other to keep going.
And lastly, don't forget to celebrate your progress. Learning a language takes time and effort, so it's important to acknowledge your achievements along the way, no matter how small they might seem. Did you finally master that tricky grammar rule that's been giving you trouble? Did you have a successful conversation in English with a native speaker? Did you understand a whole movie without subtitles? Give yourself a pat on the back, you deserve it.
Those small wins add up and help you stay motivated for the long haul. So to recap, here are the 6 steps to English fluency, even if you're learning on your own. Listen every day, copy native speakers think in English, speak out loud every day, learn new words in context, and stay motivated and have fun.
Now, before we wrap things up, we want to leave you with a few final words of encouragement. Learning a language can be challenging, there's no doubt about it. There will be times when you feel frustrated when you hit a plateau, when you question whether you're making any progress at all. But here's the thing, every successful language learner has gone through those same struggles.
It's part of the process, so don't be discouraged. Don't compare yourself to others. Focus on your own journey, celebrate your wins no matter how small, and keep pushing forward one step at a time. You've got this.
Remember that the most important ingredient in language learning is not talent or some magic formula. It's consistency. It's showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's making English a part of your life, not just a subject you study.
And trust us, the rewards are well worth the effort. Being able to communicate in English opens up a world of possibilities. It allows you to connect with people from all over the globe, to access information and resources you wouldn't otherwise have, to expand your horizons both personally and professionally.
So keep practicing, keep learning, keep having fun with it, and never give up on your dream of speaking English fluently.
Before we say goodbye, we want to thank you for tuning in to Listen to English podcast. We hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring.
If you did, be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends who are also on their English learning journey.
Until then, keep practicing and keep believing in yourself.
And remember, we are here to support you every step of the way. Feel free to leave us a comment or send us a message if you have any questions or need some extra motivation.
We love hearing from our listeners, and we are always happy to help in any way we can.
All right, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for listening to Listen to English podcast.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye for now.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow and reach more English learners like you. By subscribing, you'll never miss a new episode, and by liking the video, you're letting us know you want more helpful content. Thank you for your support. It means so much to us.